Expensive. So first off, microplastics and microbeads are tiny plastic particles that are less than 5 millimeters in diameter and can either enter humans through food. So like when you're cutting on a plastic cutting board or using lotion or using teeth toothbrushes or even in contact with it, or you can breathe it in too. And once inside, they don't just dissolve and leave. They stay in your stress and inflammation throughout the body. And they also are endocrine disruptors, like we were talking about in class earlier, and I brought it up that they can interfere with your bodies to produce hormones because they mimic estrogen called phytoestrogen. And their genotoxicity and the exposure can be linked to DNA damage. And they also can cause organ damage. I remember I rose my hand and I was talking about me doing microplastics and them cutting open testicles for one of my labs, but it's true. They cause organ damage and low fertility in men and neurotoxicity and reproductive harm shows that affects the functionality of fertility, and particularly the size of the nanoplastics end up in your balls and can almost kill you. And secondly, they destroy the marine ecosystems. So when we're brushing our teeth and spitting water into the sink and rinsing our mouths, all the microplastics from that are from cans and bottles and plastic. The fish and seabirds and marine mammals and ingest microplastics, mistaking them for food, and this leads to internal injuries and starvation and death. And this could contaminate our food chain. I've seen a study that said that no fish on Earth are considered organic anymore, that they all have trace microplastics inside of them. So it's pretty interesting to even think about. But yeah, affecting it affects the predators and eventually humans who reconsume the seafood. I know that big thing for people is trying to avoid, they're just destroying our ocean. And also, I've seen a study that shows that microplastics have been found in fruits and vegetables, and salts and rice. People will put rice on a fire and they'll burn the rice and they'll see that the plastic particles glow in the rice. So that's crazy too. And they have risks of breathing it in, and they're being now found in urban air with synthetic textiles. Inhaled particles can lodge into our lung tissue and cause respiratory issues. Does not sound good. And for microbeads, which are pretty similar, but those are more found in like makeup and hair stuff. So microbeads are from cosmetics and toothpaste that bypass filtration systems and end up in lakes and oceans, which we were talking about earlier. And I honestly made the switch probably about 2 years ago. I've been into bamboo toothbrushes. It's hard to see, but also there's a boar bristle toothbrushes that I've been pretty interested in, and also these probiotic toothpaste, this are all organic, and these all organic toothbrushes with their the long-term consequences for microplastics is that it takes us many centuries to degrade, and polyethylene and polypropylene show less than 3% degradation after 6 months in marine conditions, which should even speed it up more if it was on land. So that's just really slow. And a global spread of microplastics has been found in the Arctic, Himalayas, Mariana Trench, and even in human blood, which we were talking about earlier. And these are super toxic. If you're combined with other pollutants, it can amplify the toxic effects. Also, plastic handles on toothbrushes are usually made out of polypropylene and polyethylene, which is not healthy. And when you brush your teeth, little pieces of the microplastics break off, like the little bristles. I just ripped a piece off with my bamboo brush, but little pieces come off super easily and they shred into your teeth. And you get little fragments of microplastics that enter into your gum and enter into your bloodstream. I also found a study in 2023 that found toothbrush, floss, and even breath sprays were heavily contaminated with microplastics, in which half were polyethylene. Every time you brush, bristles fragments can break off into your mouth and your gums and the wastewater systems, which we were talking about earlier, and how they release and get back into the fishes. And we throw away 1 billion plastic toothbrushes every year, and that's mountains and mountains of years of plastic